do, I have by like 7 to,
What's that?
I have a 4 o'clock meeting, so
Okay.
I thought we'd be done, but
We'll be done. We'll be done in plenty of time.
Quint runs a tight meeting.
Yes,
We'll keep it going. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 3:02. First thing on our agenda is, I'm sorry, do we have anything we need to add or add to the agenda?
I don't think so.
First item on the meeting is general public comments. Christine, you're the one who has general public comments.
No problem.
All right. Next item on the is minutes. Everybody had a chance to review our minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, staff report.
Staff report.
Report.
And for September, we posted our meeting minutes were up, that our October meeting agenda had been posted. We thanked our grant presenters for coming and presenting at our meeting last month. And we posted notice that our grant awards would happen today, October 20th. We don't have any media at this time or grants requesting payments. Just a reminder, we received a DOLA payment for $493,224.26 for our 2022 budgeting year. Our invoices are for Dusty Reimer invoice 164 for service and supplies for $2,724.77. Dr. Waldeck invoice 27707 for services for $370.50. ACS invoice, that's our new hosting service provider, for hosting services for August and September for $29.90, and our U.S. Post Office renewal fee is $284 for the year. Our upcoming events, November 17th is when we're scheduled for our next board meeting, and that will be when we have our grant contracts from awards today. Our budget needs to be approved by December 31st. But I think we're going to try and take care of that in November, because I don't have this plan to have a meeting in December if we take care of everything in November,
I
correct?
think we can, if we have to have a whole meeting, we will, but I think for right now.
Okay,
Try to get that taken care of.
right. And then the next board meeting would be January 19th, just to kind of kick the year off, and then we'll go to quarterly until. Yep.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Dusty? None. Motion to approve the staff report and bill.
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Christine, we'll turn it over to you on the financials.
So on the balance sheet, as of September 30th, under the fund balance, we have $1,256,636.72. Permanent fund, $2,145,205.62. Grants payable of $200,000. Retained earnings of $2,603,416.74. And net income of $598,425.60. Profit and loss for September, we received the government grants of $493,224.26. Legal fees of $513. Contract services of $2,666. Dues and memberships of $24.98. Unrealized loss in perm fund of $66,857.93. Interest income of 5 cents. Dividend income of $5,662.23. For a net loss of, for a net income of $428,824.63. For accounts payable, we have $50,000 for the city of Fruta and $150,000 for Grand Junction Police Department. And the government grants received were showing that we received around $61,252.74 from our budget. We're also under the budget for our outside services by $10,683.03. We are over the budget for our auditing expenses by $200 and over the budget for insurance expense of $101. And that should be it for September.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Anybody have any other questions for Christine?
I don't.
Let's try to find. And we don't need to approve financials. Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it. And so we will move on. Review of investment accounts. What did you want to
Yeah, Matt, is
give
that
us a summary on
town, but kind of took a little bit of a dip in the market, but we're still doing well. Our ending value of the portfolio was $2,155,949. It's still doing really well. It's still up. So
that? 154.
and I was looking at it today, even from one that had dropped because this was October 1st, so this is still 20 days prior. It's dipped a little bit. I think it's back up though. So it's good. Sorry.
Been well up and down. We still have a decent, still have a good rate of return.
Yeah, it's nothing really drastic. So
Just those years where we end on a bad market that stink. And we look at a why we close the year with a loss. I don't think that.
But it's, you know, it almost doesn't matter because we're such a long-term horizon that,
It's only in look, right?
Yeah.
It's only in look.
right.
We're a long-term investor.
So Matt said if you had any questions, let him know. He'd be happy to answer them, but if you didn't have anything that stuck out that he needed to share.
Okay. Our next item would be review and approval for the draft budget, and this will be just to approve it to be posted.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that right? We don't actually.
We don't actually.
right, you'll be doing that next meeting.
Mhm.
We'll give them 30 days.
Yeah, you know, there isn't a 30-day requirement, but I think it's just, it's good practice to make
Yeah,
sure that
yeah,
it's
yeah.
out there for a long enough
Yeah.
period of time for the public to comment.
Hopefully,
So it's scheduled to be published tomorrow in the newspaper, that it'll be live for viewing
On the website.
on the website, yeah.
Okay.
But when I did the count, it was at like 28 or 29 days, and I was a little panicked. I'm like, should we move the meeting? And
You're
Chris
good.
clarified that for me too. So it'll be out there, and we'll change the website and post it on Facebook, that if anybody has it or they have comments, they can do it all the way up to our actual meeting in November. They'll approve it.
does anybody know if how many is our income on the lease and lease money is it a year behind,
I think it
or is
is.
it more than a year behind?
It's probably about a year behind. I kind of wondered with the price of gas being up right now, we should see a pretty good jump next year, I would think, if prices hold. You know, I mean, we're getting $500,000 on $2 gas,
Yeah,
and now it's at $5
yeah.
Um,
Five, I think.
next. I'm hoping
And it
anyway.
bumped over the winter last winter too, right?
Yeah,
It,
but it was kind of a blip. It
Right.
was,
February was huge,
Yeah.
but some of those companies that didn't have their gas hedged,
Mhm.
oh my gosh. I know our check from from Laramie.
Mhm.
They were in a situation where the gas wasn't highly hedged. Our check equaled almost a year's worth of income.
Wow.
So they were able to sell on the spot market at a high price. Yeah,
One month.
right.
Was the equivalent of the
Yeah.
prior year.
Dug them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had an average on that run statement, they had an average price of $15.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's because there's a couple days of this. It was actually got up to $600 with the White River. Happens when we don't plan things out.
Yeah, when there's a price shock, like, well, Texas had that
Yeah, it was
freeze and there was huge demand, and spot prices just went sky high.
And that's part of the thing, is now you've got all these utilities, watch that happen and they're all scared. A lot of them are hedging,
Yeah, they've locked in
taking
things.
more gas in case something comes up. All right, so we had a chance to look at that budget. I don't have any questions on the budget. Do you? Yeah,
No.
you good with that? Chris, did we solve in all of our requirements?
Yeah, I think you're good. You just need to authorize that it be published, but I guess it's already published, isn't it? Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet, yeah. You
Yeah,
have to schedule it like almost a week in advance in the newspaper.
To get it
and stuff now
published, yeah.
Because it's, you don't go locally. You actually have to go through a different company online to run all the classified government legal ads. So you have certain days that you can schedule with the run post. So I had to get on last week and try and get it scheduled. So
Janet, do I hear a motion to approve posting the 2022 budget?
so moved.
Motion, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We can go ahead
you
and,
can always change it before at the
Yeah.
next meeting if you don't like what you see.
and just for comment, I talked to Craig and he had
Okay.
no issues with that, with the budget, he and I discussed it.
Good job, Christine.
He was good with it, so.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we can move into our fall 2021 grant award.
All right. Do you guys want to turn around and I'll make this a little bit darker so you can see?
Okay,
Show you guys how everybody scored. So, you'll see the summary. And I'll scoot this over here, sorry, it's still kind of fuzzy. So this is the composite, like the median of all three of your scores together here for the town of Colburn. Each scoring category, so 9.3, 7.3, 8.0, 7.0, 7.7, 7.3 for a total average score of 46.7. 60. Okay. Down here for the brush truck, you had 7.0, 6.0, 6.7, 9.3, 8.0, 6.7 for an average total score of 43.7. So Plateau Valley is asking for 300,000 and East Orchard Mesa is asking for 50,000. So just again, as a disclaimer, you guys have full authority to award all of it, some of it, none of it. It's totally up to you. This isn't guaranteed, it's not locked in stone. And so we've got funding option A. And I just want to point this out here too. We've never funded a grant that's gone below 70%. So prior to this a couple years ago, because the points were different, Craig wanted them weighted. So if you were to look at like apples to apples, if you were to take a test out of 100 points, where did they score? How would they rank? And so that's why we have percentages up here. So if, let's say they took a test and out of 100%, they got 78, is what town of Colburn got. And then for East Orchard Mesa, they got 73%. So they both hit at 70, they didn't go below. So funding option A is a suggestion, is we could fund the town of Colburn and save 50,000. Funding option B is that we could fund the brush truck and then save 300,000. Or funding option C, we could fund both of them fully and have nothing left over.
Do we usually have money left over after thinking about the grades?
You have at times, yeah.
We have at times, and sometimes we've had to split payments to, or do partial awards. We've done partial awards
Yeah.
multiple times.
It's a little unusual that this time you've only got one applicant for each category of grant. It's usually
Yeah.
you're trying to decide between multiple permutations, and that's where the scoring becomes really important.
We have never scored vehicles very high, just because
Depreciable asset.
they're depreciable assets, they don't last very long. So, I mean, you know, and the mini grants never score as high as the grant. How do you feel, Janet? Do you have any concerns about? Get your best up there. Only concern there is so much of the money is up in the air, but such a large piece is obviously going to come from the county and talking to just to get some clarification from Melanie, and it sounds like with what they do currently have committed, they can get a very, very and they will be able to get at least lines to the school district and hospital, I think. That's my only concern.
No,
Otherwise, I think they're good projects.
yeah, I support funding fully both of the requests.
You want to make a motion?
Sure, I move that the ethanol district fully fund the 2 grant requests that we have this year.
All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Yeah.
I'll get those grant agreements put together and off to the applicants. You guys will be good to go.
Yeah.
Usually we try to have them by the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll have them. That's great.
Good. Good. All right.
It's always fun to give away.
Oh, they're going to be thrilled. Both of them are going to be thrilled.
I
Yeah.
do think they will be. I was in Colburn this morning. That was a little bit of topic of discussion. So.
Really is a need, and they identified it, especially when COVID sent all the kids home from school and they didn't have the broadband they needed. And there's been businesses want to come, even entrepreneurs, and they hear about the lack of broadband, and that's the deal. So,
Yeah.
this is important.
I think there's been a few people. I know there's been a few people looked at moving. You know, everybody's moving rural right now. And I know a couple of people that have talked about moving up to Colbert area and did not because of the broadband service and they couldn't. Something. All right. Well, we're down to unscheduled business. Do we have any unscheduled business? Anything we need to, anything coming up that we need to look at as far as
No, not really. You've got your budget by year end. That's really the only thing that's on a time deadline. And of course, getting that reported to the state. But yeah, things are pretty calm at the district. We don't have a lot of money right now and not a whole lot of activity. So it's probably wise that we're going to quarterly meetings. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think that works. That's nice. Although these meetings don't take up a lot of time, but.
Well, they used to.
Well, this is the simplest grant award we've
I
ever
know,
had.
me too. I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
Usually,
we'd be here
You'd have a
forever.
full room, you got
Yeah.
people, the tension, you could cut it with a
Oh,
knife.
yeah.
And you guys are arguing about scoring and whether, and asking questions of applicants and trying to slice it and dice it different ways.
I don't know how you can make this one controversial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty hard, huh?
Yeah, about as easy as it gets.
That
So,
was one of those meetings this morning.
yeah.
So with our quarterly meetings, when will those be? Is it like January, April?
Yeah, do we need to discuss that?
Probably, it'd probably be like January, yeah, and April. So traditionally, we would start our spring when we go back. At some point, we'll probably go back. So the spring cycle would start February 1st and February, like the first week of March, and then March, we would have grant presentations, and April, we would do contracts. But we could do January and then April or May. The only thing that'll come up will be audit. The audit will start and it'll need to be done and approved usually by June.
When do we do, when have they looked at doing
We always, May usually. at the
Yeah,
end of April,
you
May.
usually want to do it around the end of your,
Yeah.
or at the end of your,
What's the,
it's no, we're on a calendar year
Yeah,
fiscal
so
year, but
ours
there's a
is July
statutory
31st.
deadline in July that you have to have your audit done.
Yeah.
6
If,
months be after the end of the fiscal year.
let's plan on April, January, April, and
July,
then July. If,
and then October.
then we'll have to have meetings in September
Yeah.
and October.
In September. and
August will be the start of the grant cycle. And then September will be presentations, and then it'll be check disbursement. And then we'll go into October with stuff. So yeah, January, April, July, and then go into regular
Yeah.
meetings.
And
with-
if we need to change that to coincide with Dave Patterson,
Mhm.
the guy that does our audit, then we can get with him before our April meeting and make sure that we need to make some changes.
It should be a lot quicker. I mean, they were quick before, but
Yeah, he got right at it.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't,
We could get it
There's
scheduled.
not that much to audit.
yeah, especially this year.
Exactly. Not like you're digging through a lot of information.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you're sending confirmations to a lot.
I mean, yeah, you guys are technically, don't even have to do an audit at all, but you're below the monetary threshold right now for doing an audit, but for obvious, for reasons of policy, you guys have decided to do that and transparency to keep doing the audit, just so that the public has confidence. So no, that's a good thing.
Let's make sure we check in with Dave about, February and March. And see if we have to sign the letter of intent before he starts. If we can sign the letter of intent in April.
Okay.
And then he presents the audit in
June
July.
or June, probably June.
June.
I'm trying to remember if I should have these dates memorized by now, but
It's due July 31st.
July.
So we could do it in our,
We could do that at the July meeting.
Okay.
We could.
If we need to move up the
Right.
July meeting, we can do that.
Okay.
so we'll actually have 5 meetings, January, April, July, September for the presentations in October. And we'll do our budget meetings in October.
In November, no, we'll start in November, and then if we get anything done by November, we'll be done.
Do we need to have October if we're going to do November?
So we'll do presentations, so
So presentations are in September.
September, yeah. The awards take place today, and then by November, we have to have all the grant signing, and then we have to approve the budget. So the fall, we do all of them.
After grant time. Did you go ahead and send out
New updated schedule.
an updated schedule and then we'll work from there.
Do you guys want to keep them at 3 o'clock or do you want to, I know it's mostly thank you with your
Well,
schedule.
quarterly, I have the meeting I have next, which is the community services block grant. And that's 4 to 5:30.
Do you want to change it to 2?
Yeah. We
Two
do
would work.
two. We do two.
Okay.
Let's do those for two,
Okay.
and then we're not, yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
It's usually the open, it's kind of the day for me.
Okay. So then I'll get that sent out to you guys. And then Craig too, because the room scheduling, Linda will take care of that.
And then we may have to move up the, just understanding, we may have to move the July meeting around a little bit.
Based
So
on-
we'll come on it.
Are we the second Wednesday of the month?
We were the third Wednesday.
No sense in moving that one now, but I have to move it.
And we shouldn't be needing to find, but just in case there's a question, it gives us some time to. So,
Can we have email them?
You can have an electronic meeting.
Okay.
You can't do email votes
But we amend our bylaws to allow us to
for electronic meetings.
for electronic votes.
Oh,
But we can, does a vote on Zoom count?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Electronic you can convene and do an electronic meeting.
even if it's 5 minutes.
It's weird. You have that authority to do electronic meetings. But a meeting still has to have the ability of the public to view what's taking place at simultaneously, which is lacking when you do an electronic vote or an email vote, for example.
Notice of a Zoom meeting, how far out?
You can do it 24 hours, as
Okay.
little as 24 hours. So, yeah, and they've, in the wake of the whole COVID thing, they've clarified the state law to be very flexible for local governments to have electronic meetings. I mean, it's
So-
whatever you
so
need to
We
do.
can easily have a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
If we need to have that.
And you don't even have to have a reason. I mean, you just got to call it.
Okay.
I've been on nonprofit boards that do votes by email, but we
Right.
don't have the requirement of the public input. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. They haven't gone that far. Now, the interesting thing is that if you guys started conferring via email, the three of you on the board, that is a meeting for purposes of open records law, so
Then
that
you
everything that
then
you
open
talk
your
about
personal email up to-
is can be disclosed to the public if somebody asks for it under Cora. But it's not a meeting for the open meeting.
And you will find that Craig will not send,
Yeah.
he will not have a discussion regarding federal lease on via email for that. very
Yeah,
meeting.
he really does lean towards transparency. Yeah, just, I mean, even to a fault almost. But,
That's good.
uh,
So good call.
yeah, exactly. I mean, so
Yeah, we don't,
respect that.
never want somebody to be requesting.
And they can, and if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Um,
Okay.
Well, if we have no other business, we have a motion to adjourn.
So good.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Easy peasy.
Adjourned at
30 minutes.
You have no protesters outside your meetings here?
Start running the county meeting.